Good day, grade 9s and to the grade 9 parents. My name is Mr. Clark. I teach physical science at Fairmont, and we're going to be speaking about physical science with Jordan Moses on my left and Jack Brand, who I've been teaching now for 3 years. They're in matric, and let's get straight into it. Okay, so Jordan, first of all, let's start with you. What has your experience of physical science been at Fairmont?
I've definitely enjoyed physics a lot. It's been challenging but rewarding at the same time, and I think it's really amazing. We learn about massive things like the planet and how they exert forces on each other, to like really tiny things like atoms that exist everywhere, and it's just really cool, like understanding the world around us, and I've really enjoyed physics.
Awesome. Jack?
Physics has grown to be my favorite subject, actually. I wasn't sure which of my subjects that I chose I would enjoy most, but physics has a nice balance of hard theory work, but also practical understanding, a little bit of homework, but not too much. I know people don't like homework, but it's necessary to understand the subject, so that's my experience.
Okay, great. And then, how has doing physics helped you in terms of solving problems that you might experience every day or in the classroom?
Well, physics has definitely helped with reasoning, and you learn to construct logical arguments and understand very complex problems, and you apply this in all your subjects actually, and especially in maths. It helped a lot, and yeah.
Cool. Jack?
I'd say when approaching a problem, physics has taught me to write down variables, write down what I know, what I don't know, and what I'm looking for, and then start with what I know, with a formula, or in some other subject it could be a statement. But it's sort of working through systematically, starting with what you know, and eventually you'll get an answer.
Cool. Okay, so what has been the most challenging or frustrating part about doing physical science? We'll start with Jack this time.
I'd say there are two major things. In terms of chemistry, which is one of the two major branches of physics, physical sciences, it's memorizing the cations and the anions and the periodic table. You have to familiarize yourself with that and know the charge, know the number of atoms, because if you don't know that, every single chemistry question you're going to do, you're going to have to page back, look in the book, and you need to know that. And the second major thing is, well, in maths, negative means, the minus sign means negative, left on the number line. But in physics, it means direction. It could point this way, that way, whatever you say it does. And it's a weird concept to grapple. So I'd say those are the two major difficulties.
Okay, thank you. So you're saying that you have to study hard when you do physics. Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to study hard, yeah.
For me, it would be some topics would be more difficult to grasp than others. For example, like atoms, which are obviously very small, and it would be a struggle as you cannot visualize them or picture them, so it's a bit difficult to understand. And also, just for example, like problem solving, like some things you have to keep going and keep persisting, and you want to give up, and that has also been like a challenge, because you can't just stop with a problem, like you have to keep going. So that sometimes has been really challenging and like frustrating. Yeah.
I think what you said there is really important. One of the things that I know is that if you want to become good at physics, you have to be willing to sit and try and fail and try again and ask for help and try again. So that's really important.
Yeah, so you always say, if you haven't answered a question, that's not good enough. Even if you don't know how to answer it, you must still try.
Okay, so in terms of maths, I know everyone is very interested to know about the link between maths and physics. So how much maths is involved with physics, and how important is it to be brilliant at maths to be good at physics?
Well, I'd say that it's not absolutely essential to be a maths genius to be able to do physics. The basic understandings of things like algebra and trigonometry and some ratios, you're going to be working through those every problem, because you have equations with physics. But it's just a simple basic understanding. And I'd say, going along with that, doing physics helps you practice and familiarize yourself with the essentials of maths, because you're doing an equation for every single answer. And so, in a way, it sort of helps you practice the basics of maths.
Great.
Yeah, in actual fact, I do better in physics than I actually do in maths. So if you have a basic knowledge and you understand maths, then I think you'll definitely be fine and good for physics if you apply yourself.
Cool. Okay, so what advice would you give to someone who is deciding whether or not they should pick physics? Let's start with you, Jordan.
Well, I definitely think that they need to understand that physics it can be challenging but also rewarding, but also that it is not a subject you can study for the night before. And do everything the night before, and you need to do your homework, and you need to always like apply yourself, and you need to start from grade 10 if you are planning to take it for the course of 3 years, because stuff we're doing now in grade 12 is what we're using in grade 10, and you need to consistently apply yourself throughout the course of your physics.
Cool. Jack?
I would say focus on understanding. You need to understand the concepts and the variables and the question, what the words mean and what the symbols mean. You can't regurgitate and memorize like all the formulas we use without understanding them, because you're just going to be writing down random letters and numbers if you don't understand the question and understand what they're asking.
So from my side, I think one thing I would say is that something that's really important that you must be good at is being able to read information and extract information and knowledge from that. So being good at comprehending reading. So I know in English we do comprehensions, and in physical science we actually do comprehensions, because we give problems that are in words and we have to learn to extract information from that. Okay, so what is the main thing that you've learned from doing physical science at Fairmont? We'll start with you, Jordan.
Definitely, physics has taught me a lot not to give up. And persevere through the problems and keep going, and I think that's been a big thing which I've applied not only in school but like throughout like problems in life, and also at school with like maths or bio or history, just to keep going, and it really has helped with my logical thinking and applying myself.
Great, thank you. Jack?
Physics has definitely taught me how to approach a problem and how to work through it systematically without getting worried about the final product.
Yep. Cool. Jack, I know you said you wanted to mention something right at the end about subject changes, and I think that's something that parents are interested in, because you know, doing physics might be something you want to do, but not sure if you can change from that subject. So I know a few of your friends have changed from physics.
Yes, for some of my friends that have changed, drop physics. Well, it's not change. It's not drop. It's change. What they said was that it was more as a result of dropping maths than the physics being too difficult, and they said that they actually really enjoyed the physics. So if you work through the subject and you work hard, you will enjoy it, and it won't be a subject that you want to change from. Only if you struggle with the maths as a separate subject will you have to worry about dropping physics, because you have to take maths if you take physics.
Great, thank you so much, Jack and Jordan, for your help. To the grade 9 parents and grade 9s, I hope this has been useful, and all the best with your subject choice.